Hey, pop the trunk, I open up, I sold my soul a good price, out of sight, my whole got time.
What is up, you guys? So this is like the editing, me coming in just to give you guys a little info before the video starts. This video was filmed a month ago before the marching and the rioting and the protests for Black Lives Matter and police brutality and everything like that. But this video is me responding to my documentary series that I put out. I wanted to put this out first before I went in to create more content. The reason that this is taking so long and why I took a break from posting was honestly I was just drained. I went from posting every day for college content for about 2 weeks, and then posting every day for my documentary, and I just honestly needed a break. So now that I'm back, I will be posting more content, and I will be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and my thoughts and opinions and all of that. But I did want to put this video out before I went back to posting other content that has nothing to do with my documentary series. So yeah, let's just get started into the video. Okay, what is up, you guys? If you're new to my channel, my name is Diamond. If you're new, also feel free to hit that subscribe button. This is going to be one long video. So if I was you, get a snack, get a drink, because I'm about to be talking about all of the stuff. The comments, the DMs, everything about my documentary series. I thought this was a perfect idea to go in, I thought this was a perfect idea to do after my documentary series, because I didn't want to just hop back into vlogs and college videos and all the stuff like that. Because I just felt like coming off of serious topic and just acting like it didn't happen would be kind of weird. So I'm just going to address everything in this one video. No other video after this will be talking about, well, mostly not talking about the documentary series. So without further ado, let's get started into the video. So before I even talk about any comments, anything like that, I want to thank everybody who watched my thing, watched it, subscribed, liked my post on Instagram, DM me, text me, whatever. Like, I was so overwhelmed with responses. I did not even think this was going to happen. Honestly, I didn't even know what was going to happen. I was so nervous about dropping this and even announcing that I'm doing this, just for the simple fact that you don't know how people want to take this, and this is kind of like a touchy subject for some people, and some things that I was saying, you know, could hurt a couple people's feelings. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so I'm just so grateful for all of you guys who commented, reposted my thing, announcing it, like really just following along for the whole week. That meant so much to me. Like, you do not understand how much that meant to me. I'm pretty sure I got back to everybody now, or almost everybody. I had over 500 responses of text message, DMs, Instagram comments, what is it called? YouTube comments, like just everything. Like, I was just overwhelmed with so much stuff. I did not what's called, so it has taken me some time to get back to people, but I'm pretty sure I'm almost done getting back to everybody. But yes, thank you guys again for all the love and the support that you did for my documentary series. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I did a 6-part documentary series pretty much addressing my life the day after my mother's murder for a whole year. So if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go watch it. Video will be down below. Watch that, all 6 episodes, and then come back, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so I just wanted to thank you guys so much. I honestly, I don't even know how many times I can say this. I was not expecting it. I'm so grateful for everybody who has commented and liked it and everything like that. But now let's get into the real tea and why y'all came, the juicy stuff. Because let me get comfortable, because this is the real stuff. So I put some topics on my phone just to kind of make sure I'm following, like keeping in track. I may like kind of veer off a little bit, but that's okay. So why did I choose to make six episodes? Okay, so this was really supposed to be a 3-part series. However, each episode was going to be 45 to 50 minutes long. And my editor, I'm so grateful for him, so if he's watching this, thanks. But my editor pretty much explained to me that that's not a smart idea. You need to make it where people can follow along and come back every single day of that week to watch the episode. Because if it's 45 minutes long, they're not going to want to continue following unless they know you or they knew your mom. So I was like, wow, that's actually smart. So that's why it was 6 episodes. Trying to make them, I think the longest one was like, what, 12 minutes, 13 minutes. I think that was the first episode. After that, there was no episode longer than that. Next, why did I keep this to myself? That my family know about this? My family and my friends had no idea that I was doing this. I kind of hinted at it on my story here and there, like me posting, filming and stuff like that, but I never fully came out and said, this is what I'm doing, like, why am I doing it? No. So I didn't really tell anybody, one, because you guys know when you tell somebody your idea or your plan or whatever you're doing, they have a lot of comments to say, a lot of opinions and stuff like that, and honestly, I didn't want that. I was already headstrong on this, and if you know me, like, my mind is already set when it's set. Like, I'm not the kid that's going to change up my mind or sway different. No. Like, if this is what I'm saying I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. Like, I'm wholeheartedly, like, not changing my mind. Like, there is this or no way. So, yes. What made me choose the title? Okay. I chose that title. One, I had no idea what to make the title. Like, I was struggling with the title for, like, forever. So, I started working on this in September, and the first episode dropped May 10th. I think it was May 1st. I still had no title, so I'm like, what am I about to do? Like, I can't drop a series with no title. Like, what, it gonna be a title? Like, no. So I was like, and I was like, you know what, I'm over here trying to think of clever idea names. If you know me, I can't think of stuff like that. That's just not my forte. So I was like, I will make this plain, simple, and obvious. My life after my mother's murder. Like, period. Like, nothing else. So that's pretty much how I came up with the title. A lot of people, pretty much, well, some people, I wouldn't say a lot. Well, I mean, it's kind of a lot. More than 10. Some people thought that this series was directed towards them. If you thought that, it probably was directed towards you. No, I'm just kidding, but I'm actually not kidding. So, like I said in the description box of every single video, every single documentary episode, this documentary was about me. Let's say this again. This documentary series was about me. It was not about anybody else. Now, if you felt like I was talking about you in any episode, that is your problem. If that's what you think, then I think you need to do some inside digging on yourself, because that has nothing to do with me. If that's what you thought, that's what you thought. Like, that's not my problem. So we're just gonna, we gave you a quick, simple brief. Now we're gonna go to the next one. Helping others. Yeah. So, like I said, I think I said it. I really touched on this at the end of my video, but another reason on why I decided to make this series was not only to honor my mom and to really just make this about me and me expressing my pain and everything I've been through that year. Another reason was helping others. I feel like that was one of, like, the top. I only had 3 reasons why I made this thing. So one was just about, actually 4, honoring my mom, helping, like, this was about me and just expressing how I was getting out when expressing my pain and everything. And then the third one will be helping others. I felt like there's so many people who go through this, who go through losing a parent or a guardian in a tragic way, and you know, like, that's something hard to deal with, especially at a young. There's people who lose their parent or guardian younger than I did. I lost my mom when I was 17 years old. So there are definitely people who go through it at a younger age. But I do feel like this video could help so many people, whether that meant inspiring them, giving them strength, spending more time with their parents or family or guardians, spending whatever. Helping them to really show, like, I got through this, you can get through it too. Pretty much like that. Also, I knew a couple people who have lost their parents in tragic ways, and they never decided to, you know, announce it or do something like this or anything like that, which is perfectly okay, because not everybody's okay with sharing their story, and some people, it may not be the right time to share the story, and that's 100% okay. And that's what it is with a lot of people, and that is 100% okay. But I also felt like they have helped me through this year, and who can I help by making this video? Who can I help who has went through something like this, or who has lost a loved one and is going through it, and it doesn't have to be in a tragic way or whatever the case may be. Another reason why I decided to make this video was honestly about gun violence. Like, gun violence is it's such a sad thing, and I feel like we hear about gun violence so much on the news, and I talked about this in our last episode mainly. We hear about it so much on the news, and we're like, dang, that's sad, or such a sad thing. But at the end of the day, you don't think about it until it has affected you or it's affected your family. And to really think that this is how we're losing people, not because of, oh, they died of old age or car accident or whatever. We're losing people over gun violence because one person or a couple people decided to take a gun and go kill someone. Like, that's the idea of that. But the fact of the matter is that we're so numb to it. It's crazy, like, to actually think about. Like, it's crazy to think that we do school shooting drills. Like, we do shooting drills in school so that, God forbid, there was a school shooter, the students and staff and faculty know what to do. Like, this is what the world has come to, and it's so sad, but that just blew my mind. And it's just so crazy to think how numb I was to gun violence before my mom's passing and how I feel about gun violence now. And am I wrong? Yes. It should have not taken me to lose my mom for me to realize about gun violence. And my cousin had friends who were in the Florida, like, high school shooting, whatever. I don't forgot the exact name, and it was like that really kind of hits home because that could have been any of my cousins, but it was just so crazy. And I'm just like, oh, okay. But my life still moved on. My life did not change until May 10th because of a gun. One gun. And that was just so crazy to me. And I guess you can really say, yeah. So I feel like that was really the main reasons on why I decided to make this video. So, yeah. Next thing is, like, how did I cope with everything? Like, how did I move on? So when everything first happened, it did feel like everything was moving 1,000 miles per hour, because at the end of the day, life still goes on. People still have jobs and school and work and events and this and that. Like, there's so many other things going on, and you're just like, can we just freeze? Like, can we just take a second? Can, like, time just stop? And it doesn't stop. And as much as I would have loved for time to stop, for me to get a breath and, like, to even take a breath, like, I honestly felt like at some point in times I was drowning and I, like, couldn't even come up for air to even get a breath. I just was like, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a bad example, but I don't know. But yeah, and I honestly felt like coping with it was trial and error. There were certain things I did that didn't work, and there were certain things I did that did work. And I felt like one of the main things that was really holding me back from advancing and growing was me holding on to this life I had. Okay, y'all, future me coming in again. So I don't know what's been going on with my camera, but anytime I record a video longer than 10 minutes, it just, like, stops recording for some reason. But anyway, I was pretty much just saying, like, I was holding on to this old life, and the old life was not healthy for me. It was toxic. That included, like, people, things, like, environments, the mindset I was still in. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. Now let's just get back into the sit down part. So everything just, like, shifted so fast, and to think, like, okay, no matter what, it probably would have still shifted fast, but I felt like what made it shift even faster for me, which I had to feel like I was drowning and couldn't get a breath of air, was simply the fact that I still had prom, I still had graduation, I still had to go to college, I still had so much stuff to do that you're like, oh my god, like, that's already an overwhelming experience already, and then to add my mom's passing on top of it was just so much. So this kind of, like, all ties back to me, like, wanting that old life back, because in a sense I was holding on to something that was no longer my life. I was holding on to something that was no longer good for me. So I feel like the example I can really try to give it to you guys to kind of have you guys understand it and explain it, if you guys have not felt like you hold on to something that is not meant to holding on, is like a little kid puts their hand on the stove and it's hot, knowing that it's hot, but they keep their hand on the stove. It's like, okay, I'm holding on to everything, knowing it's hot, knowing it's not good for me, but I'm still going to put my hand on the stove and keep it on the stove, thinking whatever. I don't know what I was thinking at the time, but I was thinking whatever. So I'm holding on to it, and eventually there's going to be repercussions of me holding on to that. So it's like, okay, a kid lifts his hand off the stove finally, and there's repercussions to that, whether you meant whatever. But the longer you hold your hand on the stove, the more damage it is to your hand. And that ties back into my life. The more I hold on to the life I once had, or everything I once had, or whatever I wanted, or whatever my mindset was, the more damage it was to me, the more damage it was to others. So yeah, so that's kind of how I was able to cope with it. And it was kind of like, but that also comes with growth and maturity. Like, I honestly learned that I have to let this grow I have to let this go in order to grow. I felt like I'm holding on to this, and it took me a minute to realize. So don't feel bad if you have not realized yet. It took me a hot minute to realize. But I'm holding on to it, and I'm still right here, and I can't expect myself to feel better because the pain is still going to feel the same or even worse because I'm still holding on to everything. So I can't even sit right here and grow because I'm still at this level experiencing the same pain. So a lot of the reasons how I honestly cope with it was like just letting it go, letting things grow, and allowing myself to grow, allowing myself to mature. Another way I was able to cope with everything that's happened was honestly find one person or even two people and talk to them and tell them everything, like everything. And that was another reason I was able to cope with it. Like, I found my 1, 2, 3 people, and I really just tell them everything. Like, if I'm crying, I will call them crying. Like, I'm not going to wipe my tears and be like, oh my god, look, yeah, I was just crying, da da da. Like, no. Find your 2, 1, whatever amount of people. Like, I wouldn't say like a whole rack of people, but find like a few people and stay with them and tell them everything. And that's really how another reason I was able to cope with everything. It's just like talking about it and stuff like that. Yeah, that's pretty much how I really cope with it. That's not to say I don't have my days where I'm extremely sad, or I may cry, or I go through my mood swings. That's not to say that at all. I still have my days, but I have learned to cope with it better. So yeah, if you guys like want more stuff on that, like, I can do another video on that later, on how I coped and stuff. The next thing I would honestly say, like, okay, another thing that people have like commented and asked is like, because I did touch on this on my video, like, I have lost friends. I have lost besides my mom, like, people who are, they're still physically here, I'm just not friends with them. So let me clarify that. Like, I'm just not friends with them. We no longer speak, or we're no longer on the same level. Like, we don't, like, you know, the same friendship level and stuff. I have lost friends. I pretty much just friends. I think I'm still cool with my family. Yeah, yeah. So I pretty much lost friendships. And that is perfectly okay, and that's most likely going to happen. When you have something like this happen in your life, like I said, your whole life does more than a 360, and you're just trying to get the balance of it. However, this is my personal experience, my opinion, so this may be different with other people before anybody try to come at me in the comments. But I felt like I was above them. And I don't mean like, oh, like I'm better than them, but maturity-wise, I was above them. I was no longer this 17-year-old girl in high school, and we were like this, and we had, like, I understood them and they understood. Like, it just wasn't the same no more. I felt like I was up here and they were down here, maturity-wise. I felt like I was dealing with a 13-year-old with some people. This is not to say with all of my friends. This is not to say I don't talk to any of my friends no more. That's not the case whatsoever. I still do talk to some people, but however, I do not talk to others. So I honestly felt like it was just maturity wise. Like, how did I learn that this is not working out? Because a lot of people were asking me that too. I kind of just learned because a friend kind of told me, she was just like, okay, do they add more into your life, or do they take away from your life? Do they make your life more stressful, or do they make your life worse? And that's how I was able to really get a guide of who and who wasn't and stuff like that. And I'm not going to say I'm never going to be friends with them again, because we're never going to be, no, I'm not saying that at all. Because I may be friends with them next year, 2 years, 5 years, 6 years. I don't know. But, however, at this current point in my life, we're not at the same level, and that is okay. Now, I'm not saying I want to be friends with everybody who has lost their guardian. I'm not saying that at all. Not saying that. But what I am saying is there are people who are at different maturity levels because they were put into a situation that made them mature faster, that made them grow up faster, that put them in certain things that they had to adapt faster. And that's not to say that I still don't deal with people who are my age, not saying that at all, but I do find myself really connecting more and hanging out with more people who are older than me because they experience more, they understand more, their maturity levels there, they understand where I'm coming from. Now, they're not saying I'm right all the time, because I'm gonna tell you guys, sometimes I'm wrong, and I'm dead wrong, like straight dead wrong, but they're able to tell me that I'm wrong. They're able to understand on why I thought that, and they're able to explain to me why I did what I did was wrong and whatever. So really, that's like, honestly, that's another reason how I was able to cope. And that goes back to just holding on to things. Like, I would love to be friends with some of the people that I was still friends with, but at the end of the day, you're toxic to me at this point in time in my life. You're just toxic. And we're not at the same maturity, and I just feel like we don't have much to connect about, and we don't have much to really talk about, and that is okay. And friends do grow apart, and that's not to say some friends don't come back together and reconnect. That's not saying that at all. People definitely do that. But at the same time, friends who are getting upset about whatever I've done in this past year, I'm sorry if you feel like I've done you dirty, if I'm rude, or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, this year was about me. This year will be about me. Frankly, my whole life will be about me. But that's not to say I'm selfish. I'm not selfish at all. If you really know me, I actually give a lot to a lot of people. But this year in particular was about finding my new normal life. So that did take me time to realize, who do I want in my life, who I do not want in my life, and vice versa. Like, it's like some people figured out, like, okay, Diamond has changed. I don't. Like, and that's okay too. Like, that's okay. And I feel like once you're able to accept that, really shows how mature you are. There are people who are still like getting mad at me because I did whatever, or I may have not done this, or whatever. It's just like, okay, you need to mature, and that's okay. And I'm not going to go back and forth with someone, like, I'm just not. And that's just honestly me not caring enough. That's me not about to mess up my mental state, and that's maturity level. Like, you matured when you used to go back and forth with someone, and now you just don't say nothing. You're just like, okay. And you just move on with your life. Because at the end of the day, there are bigger things I have to worry about than you, or this person, or that person, or so on and so on. So that's really another reason how I was able to cope. And I feel like that was those people, and it wasn't even just them. It was also me. Like, those people and me were holding me back. Like, I'm not trying to be shady. I'm not trying to be messy. But they were holding me back from so much that it was kind of making my life worse more than ever. And honestly, this has nothing to do with anything, but at this point in my life, like this moment today, I am honestly happy and content with my life. That's not to say I don't want and need stuff. That's not to say that at all. That's not to say I don't miss my mom. That's not to say that at all. That's not to say I totally forgot about her. That's not to say that at all. But at this point, I'm happy. I'm content. I'm okay with what has happened. I'm okay with the person I'm becoming. I'm okay with who I am. I'm okay with, and that's where you want to be. That's where you should be. That's really when you know you're like, I'm content with my life right now. Like, I'm really happy in my life right now. Were there times I was not happy at all, and I may put a fake smile on? Yes, but that was draining. So to say that I'm actually happy at where I am right now, and I've matured, and I'm able to sit right here and just be like, okay, and you not faze me, it's like, it's really showed how much I matured, and it's also showed me how much little you matured, and that is okay. I'm not trying to be messy. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but people mature at different times. But also, when events like this, or certain tragedies, or anything like that happens to someone's life, it causes person X to mature more than person Z or Y. So yeah. Next thing I want to talk about is, why didn't you go on? Okay, yeah. So this kind of ties back, honestly, to why I made, actually, no. We're not going to talk about that. Okay, so the last thing is, like, did I ever seek therapy? And if you did, why? If you didn't, why not? Okay, so I've not been in therapy since this whole passing. I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you need therapy, you need therapy, you need therapy, you need therapy, oh my god, like, you have to go to therapy, da, da, da. Like, I have heard it all. I've heard you, oh, you're probably depressed, or this, or that, or this, or that, or you're stressed, or this, or that. Like, I'm gonna say this a couple times to make sure you get. Nobody knows what's best for you but you. I cannot stress that enough. Like, nobody knows what's best for you but you. So no one can tell you you're depressed if you're not depressed. No one can tell you you have this if you're not this. No one can tell you to go to therapy if you don't feel like you need therapy. And frankly, therapy does not work if you are not willing to accept and acknowledge that you need therapy. Like, that is just plain simple. Like, black and white. I cannot stress that enough. Like, so many people are gonna be like, you need therapy, and if you're not ready for therapy, that's okay. And don't feel ashamed if you do go to therapy, whoever. Don't let anybody tell you that you need therapy. And if you do need therapy and you do choose to go to therapy, that is 100% okay. Because don't feel like, oh, you're going to be ashamed, or people are going to think this, or they're going to think that, or whatever the case may be. Like, if you need it, that is 100% okay. Like, 100% okay. But don't feel bad, because let me tell you, everybody needs therapy in their life. Everybody has went through something in their life. No one has had the perfect childhood, the perfect life, the perfect this, the perfect that. Like, everybody has went through something that has caused them to do something else. Like, period. Like, there's nothing else to that. But why I chose not to get therapy is simply because, I've been to therapy before, and not because of my mom. I've been to therapy when I was like younger or whatever, but honestly, my personal opinion, I could be 100% wrong, or there could be more to this that I do not know, but I personally feel like therapy teaches you how to cope, teaches you how to talk about it, how to move on with daily life, and don't let that one thing mess up your life and let you go down a crazy path or anything like that. I also do feel like therapy is just meant for you to have that one person and that private person just to talk to, and say however you're feeling. And therapy could mean other things for other people, but my experience, my idea, is for coping, is for whatever, because at the end of the day, therapy is not going to bring my mom back. Period. Like, there's nothing else to that. Therapy is not going to bring my mom back. And that's not to say that I won't say I want to go to therapy next year, 5 years, 6 years, 20 years. That's not to say that at all. But at this point in time in my life, I have not been to therapy about this situation. I do not currently go to therapy for this situation. And people have said, oh, you're depressed, or you need to go to therapy. But like I said before, no one can tell you what's best for you but you. No one knows what's best for you but you. So with that being said, there is nothing that anybody can say or do to me that makes me think that I need therapy for me to go seek it personally. I am grown, so no one can force me to go to therapy. When you're younger, it's a little bit different, because your parent or guardian may say, I want you to go to therapy so that you can do X, Y, and Z, and that is different. But I am grown, so I do not have to go to therapy if I choose not to go to therapy. I personally feel like at this point in time in my life, I do not want to pay the money to go to therapy for me to talk to someone and for me to cope. Like, I personally do feel like I'm coping perfectly fine. I am going through certain things that anybody would probably go through if they lost a parent tragically. I have my designated people that I talk to about everything in my life. What else? Like, I think people think therapy solves everything. Therapy does not solve everything. Like I said before, it's not meant to really solve everything, I feel like, because there's a lot of things that can't be solved. There's a lot of things that it's about you. So therapy can help you find yourself. Therapy can help you find the deep root problem or whatever the situation is, or whatever you go to therapy for. But personally, I have not went to therapy. I have chosen not to go to therapy. Has my aunt expressed to me, like, if you want to go to therapy, you can go. Like, you can go to whatever therapist you want to go to. Yes. Is that door still open? Yes. Do I choose not to go? Yes. Like, yes, I do choose not to go. And people have felt and said whatever they thought about me not going to therapy. But at the end of the day, I frankly do not care enough, because, like I said before, I have to do what's best for me. And at this moment, therapy is not what's best for me. And that's not to say that I'm not acknowledging what has happened. I felt like by me doing this video, by me doing this video and the documentary series, that I am fully acknowledging what has happened, and to my mom, what has changed my life, everything. I have acknowledged that, and I finally acknowledged that, which I feel like is so good. But at the end of the day, I personally do not feel like I need therapy at this point in time in my life. Now, there may be something that comes up in my life that may stem back to my mom's passing that may cause me to go to therapy. But, like I said before, we don't know the future. So, yeah. People are going to try to push everything on you, saying you're this, you're that, you're like, and when I mean this and that, I mean like they're going to say you're depressed. You're suicidal. You sleep all day. There's something wrong with you. No, baby, there's nothing wrong with me. I be tired. Like, I'm not depressed. I don't know what it's called. I be tired. Like, I do nothing with my life, and by doing nothing, I be tired. And I don't do nothing because I feel unmotivated or because I'm so depressed I have no ambition in life. No, that's not the case at all. I do nothing with my life because I choose to do nothing with my life. I choose to lay around in bed and mess up my eyesight. I choose to lay around in bed and watch my YouTube videos because that's what makes me happy. Laying in bed, watching my YouTube videos and making content for you guys and whatever, watching Netflix and Hulu, that's what makes me happy. That's what I like to do. Like, that has nothing to do with mentally nothing. And if you are going through something like this, I'm not trying to be rude to anybody. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not trying to come off as ignorant or anything like that. But like I said, this is my experience, my personal preference, and everything like that, in my opinion. So yeah, like if you are going to therapy and you do feel like you feel certain thoughts in your head, yes, like that's totally different. But I have not had that. I have never had those feelings ever. I've never tried to do anything to myself or anything like that. And if you had that, it's not something to look down upon. Honestly, I feel like that if you did that and now you no longer do that, that is growth and you should be proud of that. So yeah, at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you and no one else can do that. And frankly, everything I do now is honestly for me. So putting this video out is for me. Posting all the videos on my channel is for me. Posting on my Instagram is for me. So everything should be for you, and that's not to say be selfish. I still do give a lot to a lot of people, but at the end of the day, sometimes you need to put yourself first, and sometimes you need to think about what is best for you and what is not best for you. So I feel like that's all for today's video. So hope you guys enjoyed me, like, kind of, I don't know what I'm gonna call this yet. I don't know the title, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to watch all 6 episodes of my documentary series. It'll be down below. Also, you can just go to my channel. Yeah, also feel free to subscribe. Comment down below what videos y'all want me to do, because we've been in quarantine much longer than I planned. I'm running out of video ideas, so feel free to comment that down below. But without further ado, I'll be back with more videos. Adios.